First of all, how great to be here with the new Plaza Cinema. It's just fantastic. I, as a long-time lover of Lincoln Plaza, I'm just so happy and amazed by, what you've done, and so glad to see an audience here. Anyway, yeah, so you've just seen our film. We filmed a lot of it before the shutdown, and then we were able, through the magic of technology, to keep working during the shutdown remotely. So we had Zoom meetings every morning, and we just had the extraordinary pleasure of making a story about the incredible Julia Child, who put the joie in joie de vivre. So we're happy to answer your questions you have, or
how we came to make a film about Julia Child and how we decided.
Thanks, Julie.
Basically following RBG, which came out in 2018, we were on the hunt for amazing women's stories to tell. We considered really dozens, and I think ultimately what attracted us to the Julia Child story was the food. Both of us, of course, were familiar with Julia Child and had watched her show and cooked some of her recipes, but really, I feel like even ourselves hadn't taken seriously enough what a hugely world-changing cultural force she was, so we loved that idea, and we really loved the thought of delving into a story where food was so central, and the idea of making the culinary cinematography really central to the filmmaking process just seemed, I think, like a fun, exciting challenge.
Yeah, I mean, we had a great bus ride going across 66th Street after we had lunch with one of the authors of a Julia biography and had been talking about the story, and we started recounting the recipes that our mothers cooked during our childhood, and we were just cracking ourselves up over the hot dog Creole, and all of the various Jell-O salads with things suspended in them. And
yes, I'm just almost curious as a cultural question. Now, my mom used to serve spaghetti with ketchup when I was growing up. I don't know, and a fact that I actually mentioned in an interview, and I started hearing from a lot of people of various generations. The one thing that they all had in common was that we were all Jewish. I don't know what to make of like spaghetti with ketchup as being like a Jewish food, but it certainly was in my household. And I mean, the weird twist on that is actually it was kind of delicious, but like still, come on.
Yeah. So anyway, we loved kind of putting Julia in that context of what food was like before Julia, and we didn't all go off and become great French chefs, but she certainly did open the door to really good, authentic, careful cooking and an appreciation for food that I don't think we had necessarily in the 50s and 60s. So anyway, it seemed like a fun film.
And in fact it was.
It certainly was.
How was the film distributed? Is that the question?
The film was financed by CNN Films, was our partner, along with Imagine documentaries. And so they early on got Sony Pictures Classics interested in the film as our distributor. So the film came out, premiered at the Telluride Film Festival last September, and then was in a whole bunch of theaters, a couple hundred theaters in October and November and into December, unfortunately coinciding with the rise of Omicron, so perhaps not as wide a distribution as we might have hoped. But in the meantime, it was on what they started to be run in December, I think, on what they call PVOD, which is premium streaming. You can see it on, you can pay for it and stream it. And it will debut on CNN Films at the end of May. I mean, we had worked with CNN on RBG on a kind of a similar trajectory. They have a great thing where they finance independent films and really support a theatrical experience theatrical distribution, and then it eventually goes on CNN.
The question was about the extent of Simca's role in the...
No, but there was also a third collaborator, Louisette Berthold. No, I mean, there were actually, the three of them collaborated on the first book. There was dissension in the ranks kind of in all directions, and then Louisette sort of went her own way, and Simca and Julia continued to work together, but there was tension there, and basically it's just like the way you winnow stuff down for storytelling purposes. Like, there's only so many battles against now deceased French women to be able to, like, you know, to sort of build something and make it into a character and a story. We kind of focused on the relationship with Simca, which was especially, you know, good as an arc for us because there's this conflict, but then again, they're so close that Julia and Paul end up having this lovely cottage on Simca's property, and so it's sort of a combination, yes, and of course, everything for documentary filmmakers depends on what footage exists, and we had some really strong footage, not a lot, but we made a lot of use of strong footage of Julia and Simca.
Yeah, and I do think that Louisette actually, and that Simca was the primary person working with Julia, not Louisette. Even at the very beginning. I mean, there was some grousing going on among the two of them that Louisette was not quite as involved in the writing of the book, in the tough, when they got all that nitty-gritty of doing it. I mean, Louisette was a great chef and had been their partner in the cooking school, but, you know, kind of fell away.
The question was, how did they get Julia's narration? Where does it come from? How did it get integrated?
Yes, that is all audio tapes of the actual Julia Child. Actually, in some cases, there are actually videos that we were listening to audio only. We wanted the story to be told largely in Julia's voice, and fortunately, there was actually a fair amount of audio. It is a testament not only to our amazing editor, Carla Gutierrez, but also to the fantastic audio post-production team that you have come away with. The experience we want you to come away with it was that you were listening to one smooth narration, when in fact what you're hearing when you're hearing Julia's voice is about 35 different sources that we weave together to make it feel like it's one thing. One of a major one was Julia did like an oral history with the Television Academy, the people that give out the Emmys. They did like a 2.5-hour interview with her that hadn't really, you know, that's kind of like almost for academic research purposes, so it hadn't been out there in the world, but we used that.
And that we used for just the audio of that interview.
Right, the question was the influence of Nora Ephron's film, Julie and Julia. Right?
Julie and Julia. Yeah, I mean, we both saw it, but I have to tell you, I didn't watch it. I didn't watch it again. I saw it whenever it came out. I mean, I loved Meryl Streep's portrayal of Julia. I think she did an amazing job, but, you know, we were telling a somewhat different story that, you know, went back and forth between, you know, Julie and Julia, and told a portion of Julia Child's story, but we wanted to really focus on the real Julia Child, and as much as possible tell it from Julia's point of view.
The comment was about Julia's the film's social activism on various levels.
Yeah, I mean, we thought that Julia's activism, it was just one of the ways that she was incredibly innovative, actually, because now, as you say, you kind of take it for granted that celebrities or celebrity chefs, something that really was not even a thing before Julia Child, the idea of being like a major celebrity chef. There were some that were well known from television appearance, but really becoming a pop culture figure, that was a Julia thing. And to use her voice for her political views, I mean, it fit with her personality, as you saw, like she was going to say what she was going to say, and there wasn't going to be much stopping her. So we thought it was an interesting part of her character, and, you know, just told you something about not only this woman in particular, but like how she had an impact on society. The whole idea that like, oh, you're a famous TV personality, maybe you're going to speak out for things you believe in, even when they're controversial. Not everyone does. We should say, because you're mentioning Jose Andres, there's actually a documentary that's coming out about him that's going to be out later this year that our friends at Imagine Entertainment, at Imagine Docs, who were one of our partners in this, are making that film. Ron Howard is actually the director of it.
Yeah, that's been kind of a practice that we have looked to work with a lot of women, especially in the kind of key decision roles, and which doesn't mean we don't work with a few good men as well. But you know, our primary cinematographer is Claudia Raschke, is just fantastic, and our editor Carla Gutierrez, and you know, Rachel Portman, who did the fabulous music. So yeah, we do like working with women.
The question is, what's next?
The question is our next project, and there certainly is an answer for that, and we would use that to promote ourselves shamelessly. Our next film, another story about an absolutely spectacular, groundbreaking person that is a woman, that is also a beautiful, to bring you to tears, feminist love story. It's called Gabby Giffords Won't Back Down, and it's going to be premiering actually a week from tomorrow at the South by Southwest Film Festival. We're getting ready to go to Austin. So tell everyone, because we're soon, hopefully this summer at a theater near you. Perhaps this one.
Yeah, no, it's extraordinary, the younger chefs that we've met in the course of promoting this film, the number of them who, you know, have the book, cook from it, really see Julia as the chef, the godmother of, you know, modern food.
Thank you very much, Betsy. Betsy and Julia are in our kind of Hall of Fame, heroes of New Plaza Cinema, because they